Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I think I might have a little bit of good news. I'm going to call this broadcast Arrests to Inauguration. Now, first of all, before I bring some very important information to you, let me do a little overview here. This is what I sent out to the Fast Track team last night. And so part of it is a few notes, part of it's just kind of what the prophecies are saying, and part of it is me kind of filling in the blanks. Now, if you're not familiar with the Fast Track team, this is where every Tuesday evening I send out an email directly from me to you, if you are in the Fast Track team, saying this is what I'm asking you to pray for, and it is praying for our ministry. We ask you to fast from midnight to 4 p.m. the next day. We've been doing it for like 882 weeks, and I think it's a good thing for every Christian to fast at least once a week. And if you do that, of course, you can quit anytime you want to. My promise to you is I never send product offers, never ask for donations. I'm simply asking you to fast and pray for our ministry. And you get signed up at prophecyclub.com. You can also unsubscribe anytime you want to. So anyway, this is word for word, at least my notes are, from what I sent out to the Fast Track team. Then I'm going to talk about arrests to inauguration. Got some new information for you. So to summarize what the prophecies apparently seem to be saying, this is what they seem to be saying. Apparently, tanks are literally going to roll into Washington, D.C., and the military will literally do a coup and take over and kick out JB and inaugurate DJT as the 19th president of a new restored union called the Republic of the United States. Massive arrests of high-level political bankers and business people will all be part of it. They're going to remove the SWIFT financial system, destroying the free fiat money that has been going to the 13, quote, seed of the serpent royal families, going all the way back to the pharaohs and probably going back to Adam and Eve, also called the Moloch and the Baal worshippers, the deep state, the international bankers, whatever you want to call them. Evil people that believe that they worship their god Moloch and Baal, the cow god, most by killing, by eating, by drinking the blood of humans. Sick, but that is what they believe. And this is going to be bringing in a new quantum financial system, according to finalwakeupcall.info, which I do not recommend you go and read at. This is the only thing I've found of help on there. Bringing in a new quantum financial system, turning the wealth of the world back to the hands of the people. And what we also know is that when these evil Moloch and Baal worshippers, we'll refer to them as the Cabal, which means Baal worshippers, B-A-A-L. They are going to then institute the Samson option. As you recall, Samson was the guy that his eyes were put out, so they took him to the pillars of the temple of the prophets of Dagon, the fish god, and he tore down the temple upon the heads of the Dagon worshippers, the fish god, and killed them all. So they have what they call a Samson option, which could be, and hopefully is several different things. It could be that it's suitcase nukes. It could be a new virus released, according to several prophecies, or cyber attacks, as we will probably get to today. But what I prefer is just about anything but the suitcase nukes. However, when you got Dimitri Duduman coming to Michael Boldea specifically showing him the suitcase nukes, that's pretty hard to get around. We now have, I think it's 11 different people that God has shown suitcase nukes are going to go off in America. Now, I want to believe that that can be prayed away, but with 75 people, I got to get the updated number, but we only have like 75 people reserved to come to the Solemn September Assembly, and frankly, I don't think that's enough people fasting and praying to pray away something as big and powerful as suitcase nukes, and certainly not the Russians attacking us. So if you want to see America continue, you need to get signed up. You go to watchmanstrumpet.com, watchmanstrumpet.com. Okay, so the Samson option will probably be used It could also be a new virus, could also be cyber attacks. But once the cabal sees that they have lost control, they probably, according to the prophecies, will detonate the suitcase nukes. Now, a little tidbit. August 11th has been announced to be a date of a test of the emergency broadcast system. It's a test of the emergency broadcast system, or will it actually turn out to be a real emergency broadcast system, or will shortly after that they broadcast something, and will that emergency broadcast system be announcing something like a coup? You remember Dmitry Duduman was told the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America. That's what you call a coup. An internal revolution is defined as when the people overcome the government. Mike Lindell of MyPillow says that DJT will be back in charge in August. Incidentally, Mike Lindell is also organizing a cyber symposium August 10, 11, and 12, where he is offering a $5 million reward for proof that the election was not cheated upon. In other words, he's going to, according to him, show proof there was cheating, and he's willing to pay $5 million as someone can prove him wrong. Now, why is that important? Well, there are rumors out there, and I insist that this is a rumor. I can't prove it, but there are rumors that say that DJT will be inaugurated August 15th, 2021. I do not know that that's true. I'm passing along a rumor. But here's my question. Would God consider the suitcase nukes to be judgment, bringing the sevenfold miracles? When will the mass arrests finally begin? I do not know, Prophet Barry Wunsch, which is the one that's about to say this. So then why are you putting on the air? Well, because we have other prophecies that are essentially saying the same things. So let me read it to you. And by the way, this is highly edited because he was stumbling all over the place, and this does and that does, and this, it was a mess to try to clean up. But this is the cleaned up version of what the man was saying. As best I could do anyway. I awoke at 1:30. I saw the front cover of a newspaper and saw Victory. DJT sweeps the nation. It was time for the nation to celebrate like after a time of war, the celebration comes. I saw masses of people coming out onto the streets with American flags celebrating. There was still some work to be done. There was still high tension in the air. Then I was taken to a fence line just outside of the White House, and I saw a huge crowd gathering. The American people came onto the streets to see what was going on. I saw people who had conspired and engineered evil surrounded inside the White House with nowhere to run, nowhere to escape. It was the end for them. I saw military troops supporting safety enter the White House and other buildings and escort out the evil ones like prisoners of war, brought out onto the front lawn of the White House, lined up row upon row in handcuffs and shackles. Their day was over, and the crowd cheered in great outbursts as each group was brought out and put on display. The people in the streets cheered as evil was being dealt with. The patriots were singing anthems and songs of victory in the streets, giving thanks unto God. All the corrupted ones were extracted and marched onto the streets, surrounded by army marching them through the streets in humiliation. They were about to face the consequences of all of their evil and corruption. They were brought into a portable holding area like a mobile army base for processing to face righteous judges. They were going on trial, facing justice for the highest of consequences, and would get all they had coming to them for their crimes against humanity. Then I'm taken to the inauguration ceremony. DJT is surrounded by military. DJT is inaugurated as President of the United States. There was no showboating. This was serious business. The job was finished, and it was now time to heal and rebuild. I saw the public opposed to DJT instantly see the truth that they could no longer deny. They could now see the evil that had been done by these corrupt ones, and that the spirit of anarchy in them had been broken. I saw big military cargo planes, open ramps, and special teams from the United States loaded pallets of legal documents, departing to other nations to go and to do likewise to other foreign dignitaries, awaiting their arrival in other nations. Planes were strategically set in place to arrest and bring foreign corrupt leaders to justice. The world will never be the same. I watched them deploy into nations after nation, and they rejoiced in the streets as justice was served, and freedom, truth, and righteousness flowed like waters. Those who were left standing had a great reward. It was revival time, a time to heal, so great things are coming. 7/29/2021, George White. I awakened to hear an audible voice say, "Condition, code red. Hackers cause chaos." That's two different phrases. Let me say it again. Condition, code red. Hackers cause chaos. I grabbed my pen and began to write the next words coming to my heart. The goal is to cause financial systems to collapse. Many will succumb to this attack. Surely this will keep some from prospering, but also many will prosper. Look for my sign to see the signal to begin this reset. It will be very clear when it happens. Many will be confused and desperate, but fear not. You will not be caught unawares. The UN will step in and add to the chaos, but I will use this time for my benefit. This is not order out of chaos, but my will be done. See that you be not deceived. My man, my servant, DJT, will come to the forefront and bring relief. Here's kind of a confirmation here. And a plan that I have prepared to save this country and ultimately the world. Be sure to keep praying. There we go, watchmanstrumpet.com. Be sure to keep praying, keep believing, and interceding. You have the victory. Now let's go to Anita, 7/29/21. The TV came on and made the sound of an emergency broadcast system that it used to make back in the 1980s with the emergency beeping sound that we all remember. Then a voice came across the TV saying, "We have tragic news. The president, JRB, has died." The vision shifted to KH and NP, plotting and discussing how JB had died, and now KH would become president and NP would become vice president. And now they were able to put into place all of the bad things they wanted to do to America. Then it went silent, and the vision shifted back to the same voice saying, quote, "America will not go without a president," unquote. Due to the cheating in 2020, DJT is now your president, and the vision ended. As another confirmation, 7/30/2021, Jason Meeks. The dream started out. We stopped by an ATM machine to get some cash for the toll road. I put my card in, $20 out, ended the transaction, but I realized I didn't have enough cash. Put my card back in, another $20, but now the fee was $42 to access the money instead of $1 or $2. As we drove back home, we stopped by a major bank. TV screens were showing massive arrests had taken place. An alert went out on my cell phone see the alert? That's the emergency broadcasting thing, okay? An alert went on my cell phone that DJT was assuming control as the new president. I expected people would be rioting and looting, but instead they were happy, celebrating in the streets, almost like VJ Day in World War II. See, that's the same thing the other guy said, okay? As in victory after a war. In the dream, a man came to me and started crying, saying how all his evil bosses in the banking industry had been arrested, and now he was in charge of the bank. He was a Christian, and he'd been praying for this for years. The news was showing people had been handcuffed, rounded up, and put on planes like commercial jetliners. That's what the other guy said. The men that were being arrested all had some type of weird dress on, almost like they wear in the Middle East, but they were more effeminate. As people took to the streets in victory and celebration, we joined in. We jumped on the back of a fire truck to catch a ride in the parade because the streets were so full you could not walk. Everything was amazing. Then I heard a huge explosion. It was a suitcase nuke being detonated within the city. I didn't see the explosion, but I saw the shock wave. We jumped off the truck, ran into the restaurant for protection, but we were not harmed. It was just broken windows and glasses like in an earthquake. Then, an alert came over my cell phone saying, "Nuclear emergency, shelter in place." We were scared, but alive. Then the scene changed. Now I'm standing in another part of the city inside of a very nice restaurant. Like from waiter's viewpoint, DJT is having lunch. In the dream, he knows what has just happened. And although he was not crying, somehow I knew that he was broken-hearted because this had happened. He said aloud, "I wonder how long the red cloud from the explosion will last." 2 tables back, behind DJT, was a man who was somehow close to DJT, only not physically close, but he was a traitor. I knew the man had something to do with the suitcase nukes. I could not make out his face, only that he was Caucasian. DJT did not know this man was an evil traitor. As I looked out the window at the red cloud of fallout, I recognized the skyline was New York City. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. Jason Meeks, 5/17/2021. In the dream, I was lifted up into the sky, and I saw the outline of the state of Texas. Now, he lives in Kentucky. I saw 3 small nuclear detonations hit Dallas, Fort Worth, and Lubbock. After the explosions, I saw people walking. No cars on the road. Why no cars on the road? Because the EMP fried the computer chips in the cars, and they are dead forever. People were walking to cities for refuge for food, water, and the basics of life and safety for themselves and their families. In the cities were saved Christians, mostly, or people who had at least listened to the gospel, even if they did not fully understand it. All the people were helping each other and sharing their resources. The yet to be saved were not eager to share, but, primarily for their own safety, they would share within the city. When everyone entered the city, they were given a copy of the 10 Commandments and told to learn them and that they must be followed in order for them to stay. If they did not follow them, they would have to leave. There was no army or police, machine guns patrolling any of that. There were just a few sheriffs that were over manageable-sized groups. There were no courts, judges, just a handful of sheriffs to keep order, having 1 pistol on their duty belt. The sheriffs were godly men and did not allow 2 set of rules. All were treated equal and fair. They were nervous that they might lie to them by accident and be forced to leave the city. Now is further confirmation. March 2016, Henry Groover, my favorite speaker at the Prophecy Club ever. In this vision, one of my children came running saying, "Dad, Dad!" A big, long black limousine and other black cars just pulled in front of the house. And a man and woman got out, and they were coming to the door. I opened the door to see DJT and his wife dressed like a king. His wife was carrying a shawl on her left arm, made of gold tweed and big royal jewels in it. "Mr. DJT, to what do I owe the honor of your visit?" And he said, "Oh, Henry, never mind. We're family. This is just a family visit. I just came to see you." He sits down. His wife puts his shawl over his shoulders, drapes it down over front of him, and stands beside him. It was beautiful, made for royalty. The whole visit was strictly family. He was asking about our different children, how they're doing in our visit. Finally, he stands up and says, "Well, I've got a lot to do," and says, "I'll be back. I'll be back." After the limo drives off, I wave my arms, tried to tell him he left his shawl. Then I heard this voice speak from behind me saying, "He'll be back." I say, "Wow, okay." The vision ended. If you put all of that together, it is saying that we're about to see the internal revolution start. I want to believe that the bad things like the suitcase nukes aren't coming. But brothers and sisters, if we are going to stop the bad, it is up to us. I'm not calling the Solemn September Assembly September 6 to 8 because I want to fast for 48 hours and I want to make everybody miserable. I'm calling it because if we don't fast, this could turn really, really bad. It could be that we're about to lose our nation. It could very well then descend into God will raise up China, Japan, and many of the nations. They'll go against the Russians and defeat the Russians. It could descend into World War III and the fall of America. But I believe we can at least soften it and delay it, even if we can't pray it away. But if we don't pray, I think you can see it's coming a lot sooner than later. I'm asking, I'm begging everyone to come to the Solemn September Assembly, September 6 to 8. Yes, I know you got to take off work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Nobody said you had to be there the whole time, okay? But we need you there. We need you there every possible minute that you can be there. Bring your shofar. Get ready to fast and pray for 48 hours like you probably never fasted and prayed in your whole life. It is my belief that there's a high probability that the coup, the military takeover, the internal revolution will have already started and very well possibly might still be in progress come September 6 to 8. It may be the time that Americans need to be praying for our nation more than we ever have in our entire life. I'm asking you, in the name of Jesus, I'm calling you to bring your shofar and come and lock arms with your other brothers and sisters together under one thing, the name Jesus, to do one thing, pray for America. Watchman'sTrumpet.com. Watchman'sTrumpet.com. All the details are there. Watchman'sTrumpet.com. April 2021, Charles Turner. In the vision, I was in a room and heard a loud rumbling right under my feet, rolling behind me. On the wall in front of me began to appear numbers. The numbers were being calculated that contained algebra and geometry. Then I saw cash dropping into an abyss type of place. There was no end to it. Cash was disappearing into the darkness. I saw dollars begin to fade on each side to the point where you could barely see the numbers on the bills, but the numbers continued to fade away. I was made to know that the dollar is going away, and a new cashless system of digital numbers was coming in to be our new medium of exchange. See, that fits with the arrests. That fits with the other things we're talking about. It's all kind of like the same package and apparently all about to happen. I heard the Lord say, digital. I said, oh my God, the cash is fading away and digital is coming in as a new domain. I looked to my left and I saw vaccinations. I saw doctors collaborating in a new type of association they had all agreed to join. It was mandatory. They were proud and arrogant that they were cooperating together to bring this anti-V. Immediately I said, Lord, I'm not taking the anti-V. Then, on the right wall, I saw laws being passed, attorneys becoming more and more aggressive, getting bigger and fatter. I understood that they were being paid a tremendous amount of money to pass laws to implement this cashless currency. The anti-V was part of the plan, with the attorneys pushing new laws that were going to be stabbing people in the back. Then I heard the word totalitarian government. I was immediately in the center of the United States, and I could see all across the land from all four sides of the United States. Behind me, I saw totalitarian government. I said, Lord, we're being squeezed in. Then I saw the church, nationwide and globally, being bitten. It was like there was something coming from the backside, from the coastline, biting the church. It was eating, taking bites out of the church, and the church was getting smaller and smaller. The church began to claw and pull apart and become separated. It would be eaten. Then, from all sides closing in, the church screamed and yelled out to God and said, Lord, help us. Help us. We're being closed in from all sides. You see, that's Watchman'sTrumpet.com. That's the Solemn Assembly. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, we got to come together. We got to pray. I heard the Lord saying 2020. Suddenly, a spiritual wall encircled the entire United States and came up as a wall. I was made to know it was seduction. Then the Lord spoke and said, quote, the spirit of seduction came upon America in March of 2020. That's the V. My people are being seduced. Warn them. The time is short. It's shorter than everyone thinks. These things must come to pass. But fear not, I am coming. You put all that together, and brothers and sisters, we've got to pray. We've got to pray that the best things come, not the worst things. If you don't want your car to be dead and your computers in your house to be fried, then I would recommend you go to empshield.com. Promo word there is prophecy. empshield.com, promo word is prophecy. If you're needing some kind of long-term storage food, we'll send you heavensharvest.com. Heavensharvest.com, promo word there is STAN. If you're needing some kind of gold, silver, precious metals, and things like that, we'll send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. cornerstoneassetmetals.com or 888-747-3309. empshield.com, promo word prophecy. heavensharvest.com, promo word STAN. cornerstoneassetmetals.com, mention Prophecy Club. When a nuclear device goes off, it produces an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, and it fries every computer chip unless they're protected. The good news is empshield.com has devices a military testing facility says are 100% accurate to protect against EMP, solar flares, lightning, power surges, backed by a 10-year warranty and a $25,000 insurance policy. And they come with simple installation instructions for home, vehicles, RV, and electric generators. You can have electricity in a blackout. empshield.com. Use the promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. This helps Prophecy Club. That's empshield.com, promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. empshield.com. empshield.com. The worst thing is to find yourself in an emergency and you do not have the food, but the second worst thing is to open the food you bought and your family won't eat it because it is garbage. That's the reason so many people get heavensharvest.com food, because it's really good food, edible food in an emergency. It may be 10, 15, 20 years down the road. All of a sudden, you do need it. You can open it and your family is going to eat it. heavensharvest.com. Put in the promo code STAN. It helps your Prophecy Club. heavensharvest.com, promo code STAN. In 2017, God helped me to memorize the book of Revelation and gave me 30 revelations, 2 visions, and an audible voice. God showed me the word first fruits is a secret door linking the feasts of Leviticus to the prophecies of Revelation. For the first time, the end-time prophecies of Revelation can be placed in correct chronological order. One prophetic word said, "There is a lock I put over a word in the book of Revelation I'm going to open unto you. It will turn many books written on the end-time message into obsolete books." That's this book. It's called The Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. So what if you had to tell a person the most important thing in the world, but you knew they're probably not going to believe you? Well, if you're listening to this, I believe you'd probably still tell them. Well, the most important thing to do is to receive Jesus. But the most important information is to not take the mark of the beast, because those people taking the mark of the beast do not get soul death, but they're tossed into eternal torment in hell without any possibility of escape. We put it into a book, Miss the Mark, Don't Take the Mark of the Beast, a simple book to give to people. If they read, they will never take the mark of the beast. Countless people are believing that they're not going to see any trouble of the tribulation. They're going to go in a rapture, which is a misunderstanding. So God had me write a book called How Pre-Trib Won. It explains how the Christian church was so snookered into believing a misunderstanding like this, and it helps them through scriptures to see the truth that there is not going to be a pre-trib, mid-trib, or pre-wrath rapture. No one is going any place to escape any testing. It's called How Pre-Trib Won. Then, the book of Daniel, most people agree, is probably the most difficult book in the Bible to understand. So I wrote a book called Tribulation Secrets in Daniel, which gives this last generation the explanation and the parts of Daniel that they need to endure the tribulation. Pure and simple, it takes Daniel and makes it easy to understand. It's called Tribulation Secrets in Daniel. As you know, many of the broadcasts have referred to a list of dreams, visions, and audible voices from people like Dimitri Duduman, Michael Boldea, Leslie Johnson, Henry Gruver, and others. We put together a special radio offer. You can get 10 How Pre-Trib Won, 10 Tribulation Secrets in Daniel, 10 Miss the Mark, 5 Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, 5 God's Warnings to America, totaling 40 books valued at $800 for a gift of just $100 at prophecyclub.com. That's 40 books valued at $800 for a gift of just $100 at prophecyclub.com. prophecyclub.com. Click like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend.